if you could have like another organ or something, what would you have?
Another organ? Oh
Like
my God.
another body part.
I would have an extra heart so I could donate it.
Aw,
What about you?
extra hard so I could run more and faster.
Oh, wow. Hi everyone. My name is Michelle Sen. Today I am doing a Q&A session with my friend Andy Bains. He is the founder of Bains Nutrition. He is a health coach, and today he'll be sharing about what he does and also some inspiring stories about overcoming heat exhaustion and dealing with anxiety. And in this conversation, we'll talk about how to live healthfully. We both share about our ambitions and dreams, what motivates us as young people on this whole food, plant-based lifestyle. And we also ask each other fun questions like about celebrity crushes. So we hope you enjoy this fun Q&A. There will be timestamps on this video, so you can go look at them and click on the questions that you're most curious about.
Hi everyone. As Michelle mentioned, I'm a health coach. More so, I'm just a health nut. I work as a nutritionist. I also soft launched my own counseling service earlier this year, just because so many of the nutrition problems that we have are heavily rooted in psychology. So I always end up talking about esteem dynamic principles like self-esteem, personality with clients. So I've gained some experience doing that. And like Michelle said, we're going to have a lot of fun in this video. In a weird way, this is my YouTube debut. I don't have a channel up right now because I'm busy finishing up my master's degree. So I'm excited today to be able to interview Michelle. Well, not interview. We're gonna have a lot of questions, and there's some fun questions and there's some serious questions. So I hope you enjoy. What's the elevator sales pitch on why someone should subscribe to your channel?
Someone should subscribe to my channel if they want to learn a little bit about everything. Because someone was looking at my channel the other day and they're just like, wow, you just talk about all these different things. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think I really have a niche. I mean, particularly, I like talking about healthy lifestyle, working out, plant-based nutrition, and I have a lot of previous videos on evolution psychology and anorexia. But really, I want my channel to be a documentation of things I'm learning. For example, right now, as you know, my intellectual obsession is Dr. Peter Rogers. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to make some videos about that because I'm learning so much right now. And when I learn something, I think I have what Dr. Lau calls the teaching gene, in that I need to take what I learn and give it to other people. And which is maybe a bad thing because then I'm like, I want you to listen to me. But at the same time, it helps me remember the information. And it also hopefully is of value to people. Overall,
Mhm.
I hope that people watching my channel can both be entertained and also take away tidbits to help make their lives a little better.
Oh, for sure. I have that teaching gene as well, and sometimes I feel bad for my clients because, like it is with Dr. Peter Rogers, it's a lot of mechanisms and really nerdy stuff. So I'll start off general, but then I'll go into way too many details, and I'm just looking at them like they're like, thank you, I think. So it's hard not to fall in that trap of just like, oh, let me just explain how this works right from the beginning of time to the present day. In many ways, I'm also a generalist. I like learning a little bit about everything. And sometimes that involves a lot of deep dives into weird topics. And I also want to share that one day, hopefully on a YouTube channel, but we'll see.
Yeah. Well, if you don't share on YouTube, I'm going to extract it out of you so you can get it on
Yeah.
YouTube. I think the power of
Okay.
YouTube is just so many people. Apparently, it's the world's second largest search engine. So
Oh,
very
wow.
powerful. It's very, very powerful as a tool. I personally think that your lectures are brilliant. I mean, your PowerPoints and your everything, it's really, really, really good. I think you humbly undersell your abilities.
Yeah, we try. I think I undersell it because so much of like what I do, I have found online. So it's almost like, why would someone want to check out like why would someone want to check out my content versus just go straight to, Dr. Lyle? But at the end of the day, one of the quotes, and I've shared this before, is there's always room for quality, right? And so much of what we see out there, when I see it, I'm like, this can be done so much better. So I want to do it so much better. As for my lectures, so right now I do a bit of public speaking. I don't have any on my website, but I will for the latter half of this year. So keep an eye out.
Sweet, sweet. What are you currently working on and what are your goals?
For my master's, I finally have my complete data set as of yesterday, which means I need to grind this out for the next few months. I did take a couple weeks in December just writing out a massive script. And that script details, it takes someone that knows nothing about nutrition, just pulling someone off the street, and it'll just tell them everything they need to know about eating a whole food plant-based diet, SOS free, why they should do it and how to do it. It's actually on that how to do it part that I got kind of stuck, because there's so much information. That piece is already covered, but I need to get more kitchen demonstrations. I need to actually get a little down and dirty in the kitchen myself and figure out a formula and a better way of doing it. I'm a big fan of Jeff Novick's fast food. That approach resonates well with clients because we're not adding more time to their day. We're just changing what they do and getting big meals and just bulking as much as we can. Like bulk cooking as much as we can, not bulking. So I want to figure out an easier way to do it. And I think I just need to play around in the kitchen a lot. The problem is, one, time, and two, I'm not that open when it comes to food. I'm pretty okay eating the same things myself. So there's not a huge chip in me to be like, oh, I need to try out 50 recipes this year. But that's what I need to do.
Oh, man.
So yeah, that's on the burner for this year and getting more content out right after I graduate. So yeah.
Oh, sweet. What time do you expect to graduate?
Hopefully end of June, and then summer will be just making content, and then the latter half of this year we'll be actually putting it out.
That's awesome. And I resonate, by the way, with not being much of a variety person. Because I feel like in this nutrition world, you're either one of the research people putting out the research, or you're one of the chefs making the cooking and the recipes. For me, I said this on AJ, I'm the laziest cook in the world. And I have no desire to spend time crafting the most aesthetically pleasing, beautiful cakes and whatever. I just will just have my mouth full of broccoli and rice and call it a day. That's me. So I feel you. I wish I could do more like actual food prep content, but it just doesn't motivate me.
Yeah, one of the ideas I had the other day, because I get so many clients that want a meal plan. It's not my thing. I'd rather work with what they sort of have and go like one meal at a time. But for a meal plan, what I was thinking of doing was a 7-day microwave meal plan. So it's everything they can cook in the microwave, because how much easier could it be than to throw things in the microwave and have one come out, right? So I might
Exactly.
do that.
That is awesome. Yeah. I did ask Peter Rogers what he thinks about their microwave, and unfortunately he's against it. But right now I'm like, okay, I'll try to use it less, but still got to use it.
Wait, why is he against it?
Well, he's against it because he doesn't think the microwave is a proper Faraday cage, so that when it's when it's zapping the food, some of that radiation is leaking, and you can test that by putting your phone in the microwave, calling it, and your phone will get reception and pick up the call.
Okay.
I mean, there's a question of like how bad is that really?
How far does that go though? What if I'm
Sorry?
standing? What if I'm standing on the other side of the house? Other side
Yeah,
of the house.
so Peter Rogers says that when he's using the microwave, or his family, he doesn't use it, but when his family does, he just gets out of the room. So yeah.
Okay.
Maybe tell your clients, shove the taters in the microwave and run. Get your exercise that way. Do a mile, then come back.
Yeah. Well, I've heard that too, that you don't want to be like near to microwave, but I wonder how far it travels. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have noticed if you're near the microwave, and at least with my Wi-Fi, it can kind of cut sometimes. It's really weird.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if the frequencies are anywhere near, or if I'm just having 3 instances of coincidences. Take that very anecdotally, but yeah.
Interesting. I'll test it next time I'm wearing my Bluetooth headphones.
So as your viewers know, you mentioned that you have a chronic eye condition, which, if I recall correctly, is
Accommodative.
Yeah, accommodative spasm. Accommodative spasm. English is not a great language for you guys. Neither is any other language. What's the best advice you ever received or seen regarding it?
I haven't met anybody who has it to the degree I do. So, but in general, everyone experiences eye strain, especially from the computers and such. The best advice I've heard is just to get outside and take breaks. And by breaks, the most recent doctor's visit I had, he told me that it's not enough to take a break. There's something called the 20-20-20 rule. Every 20 minutes, look at least 20 feet away for 20 seconds. He told me, no, it's not enough. You got to do every 15 minutes, which is annoying. It's really annoying. But yeah, the best thing is just take frequent breaks, because eye strain is generally caused by your focus getting locked up for too long on something like a book or your smartphone. And if you just look far away, let your vision go panoramic, as Dr. Huberman says, then you're actually relaxing your brain and you're becoming more creative and literally changing your perspective on things, which is both mentally and physically helpful.
You should share that. If you remember the mechanism, you should share it in a video one day. I think that'd be good. The mechanism of how if we look in the distance, it actually relaxes your nervous system. And let's see you. I don't know which episode it is. I wish I had a memory like that. But Huberman in one episode says that we can sort of influence our parasympathetic nervous system, so that rest and digest. And one of the ways is through breathing. And the second way was through vision.
Yeah.
And it's looking at the distance. So your eyes can kind of like do this weird scanny thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that currently resets. It makes you feel good.
Yeah, and it's cool because it has a very evolutionary basis. Often our ancestors would spend time scanning the horizon. And so the back and forth horizontal movement of the eyes is very relaxing. And that's why things like EMDR are just so popular, because they actually work at helping the brain calm down and helping people get over trauma.
Yeah.
I want to know more about your physical exercise goals, your athletic goals. I know you do a half marathon sometime. I'm curious what you're up to.
So I've had a number of running injuries over the years. In some ironic way, I think one of them was actually running wise. The rest were because of like some sports or My latest one I fell while biking. It was a wooden bridge. The bridge was wet. Bike went like this. I went like that. It was pretty bad because my leg went out. So I haven't ran like much this year, which absolutely sucks because one of my close friends is doing a 56-kilometer run in June, and I want to do that one. He's also doing a 100-miler in July, which I don't want to do yet. But the long-term goal running-wise is to kind of push my body to its limits. I really resonate with guys like David Goggins and just getting after it, because it's just one of those things there. When it comes to how I want to live my life, I want to be able to experience a variety of highs. And I think that's a high like no other, accomplishing a 24-hour race and not even sleeping. Obviously, health-wise, it's not the best thing to do. Let's be honest here. In the short term, it's not the best thing to do. I'll probably get sick right after it, but it's something that I want to do because I think it teaches like my nervous system that it's capable of doing a lot more. I had a close call on my bike a couple of years ago with heat exhaustion, basically. So after that, I've been really cautious. Before that, I was like, so get after it. And now I'm, okay, well, hold up, wait a minute. And I get quite nervous around even going for a bike ride and whatnot. It's very subconscious, but it's still kind of there. So I think that I need to do one big thing to tell the nervous system, hey brain, everything's good. Hey subconscious brain, we're all great up here. So that's athletic wise, and that's really the reason why I exercise. It's to ease that anxiety, to make me feel calm. I feel kind of nervous right now because I can't run right now. So I didn't do much for exercise this morning. I also would love to do more cycling. Since that incident, I haven't ridden much. And the thing I love about cycling, more than running, is one, the distance you cover, but also the people you sort of end up meeting. It's when I was riding a lot just around my neighborhood, I would see the same people every single day. And it's just so nice to wave hi, hello. Even though we didn't really have a conversation, you feel like a sense of belonging that you otherwise don't. You feel kind of fragmented if you're always, I don't know, in this online world, at least for me. So that's how I kind of want to use sports. I use it to, meet people where I can, use it to make myself feel better. And the activity doesn't really matter. If my legs get chopped off, I would probably just do a bunch of rowing, despite I'm not built for it. I would just do a bunch of rowing. Next week, the week after, for anyone in the Surrey area, I didn't introduce where I am. I'm near Vancouver, BC in Canada. In the Surrey area, we're planning on launching a little run club with the clinic that I work with. So I'll have a little group of my own. So, and I will be able to hopefully do some run clinics as well, where I can introduce the principles of running. If you want to hear I'll share a little funny story. So on my second day with my current girlfriend, and hopefully the last one, on my second day with her, I was like, oh, let me tell you about running. So what you do is you stand up, you lean forward, and right before you fall, you put one foot in front. And you just do that again, and you do it again. And then you're running. It's amazing. So simple.
Running is the act of continuously falling and catching yourself.
And catching yourself. Yeah. The key is catching yourself.
Yeah.
Wow. That's where people get a little stuck, but I'm here to help them out. So
Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, I so admire your story of going through that heat stroke episode and slowly climbing out of that. I know it's been such a journey.
Should I
And
share it?
yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay. I don't know if you're gonna ask this question later. But I only have a couple of regrets, okay? And this is one of the big ones where it's like, I wish I did it a little differently. But it's also, it doesn't sit with me as a regret because if I, go back in time, I'm still me. I'm still going to do the exact same thing I would have done. But basically, I knew this day was going to be really hot and I was just cycling back from work. The piece of bad luck I had was the heat wave was supposed to start on Sunday, but it actually pretty much began on Saturday. I finished my shift with no water. Didn't bother refilling because I'm very picky and I want my filtered water. So I didn't bother refilling. And then I just bought an e-bike, but the e-bike had a firmware update, so it wasn't helping me. So I'm just riding my bike home. And the biggest red flag was whenever I stopped at a red light, my heart rate didn't go down. It was just at about 150, 155. I got to about a kilometer away, so almost home, lugging this e-bike that wasn't helping me with my backpack on. And I remember at one of the stoplights just peeling my shirt and I was just drenched in sweat. So at some point, my body just screamed at me, like, you get off this bike or you're going to die. And my vision started tunneling. And then as soon as I got off the bike, it's just trying to like catch my breath and I just feel really hot. I call one of my like nurse friends. She comes up, get an AC. She took a little while coming, which is totally fine because apparently the ambulances were really busy that weekend anyway. So I probably would have been waiting longer if it wasn't for her. So once I got AC, went to a friend's house later. I was joking around like, oh, I had a near death call today, but I'm still here. So great to be having this watermelon. And consciously, it was like, okay, it was a close call, but we made it, right? What's the big deal? Subconsciously, my brain was freaking out. It was like, dude, you almost died. What are you doing? And I completely burnt myself out. The next day, I did go to work, but I couldn't function. I couldn't even stand up without like feeling out of breath. And the day after that, I was basically bed rest for a couple of weeks. I started having panic attacks, and I couldn't figure out why. For many, many years, exercise was always sort of my cure for anxiety. It's like get a good workout in, get rid of the extra cortisol, everything's good. But now my body was and my brain was so scared of exercising that it would do the exact opposite. For 2 months, I lived in a very high anxious state 24/7. I couldn't figure out what was going on. And eventually, through a combination of things, it resulted in some GI issues and whatnot. So that's one of those like moments where it's like, oh, I really wish that didn't happen. But at the same time, if I look at my life in hindsight, if I look at it, it's like I was gonna crash at some point. I was doing way too much. I was working every single day. I was working after work every single day. I was trying to run before cycling. There was one quote that was actually from Huberman's podcast that gave me a little bit of closure about it. And it was about his friend that was just a complete athlete, just getting after it every single day. And what he said was, yeah, his dopamine, it was something about his dopamine system because Huberman just talks about dopamine in so many episodes. It was something about his dopamine system. He's like, yeah, he just kind of crashed one day. Like there's nothing wrong. He just sort of crashed one day. And that's what I felt like just happened to me. I just crashed one day. That gave me a bit of closure because for so long I was trying to figure out, okay, what actually happened here? Why is this such a big deal, right? But sometimes it's just life gets to you and then that's it. So yeah, that was the heat exhaustion incident. It took me 6 months before I could do exercise more than half an hour because at that half an hour mark was at the mark where I had that first episode of heat exhaustion. And every time at half an hour, my heart would sink and it would feel like I'm going to die. I remember running. So December marked 6 months. I remember running in January, just trying to break that 30-minute barrier. I was out by, beautiful water. And I'm just like, okay, worst case scenario, you die. It's all good. You had 26 good years. But obviously you're not going to die like that. I had my heart checked out. Everything was okay. But it was a real battle with that subconscious process. And what really saved me was just knowing about psychology principles, knowing that repeat exposure is so important. And the only way you're going to get the repeat exposure, if anyone's struggling with this, is to actually throw yourself in those situations. Other than that, you're never gonna get it, and you're always gonna be scared.
Wow. Wow, thank you so much for
The-
sharing. That sounds so terrifying. So right now, when you exercise, is there
Mhm.
still the anxiety that the heat stroke exhaustion might come back?
It depends. So I fortunately last summer went on a few really hot days, and I
Mm-hmm.
think that was very important. Like I was on the bike with a friend. Most of last year, I didn't do many workouts like running outside by myself. I think the one thing that I need to do is just literally grab my bike and just go for a 150-kilometer, 8, 9 hour bike ride
Nice.
as slow as it takes me. And I think that would be a great learning experience for my brain because I haven't done a solo activity. I've always kind of had someone there just in case something
Mm-hmm.
went wrong. So that's something I need to do. And yeah, just adventure more out of my comfort zone, so to say.
Nice.
But yeah, it creeps up. It creeps up for sure. Yeah.
Mm.
Especially when it's hot.
Oh man.
Who is your favorite celebrity crush? And if you don't have one, who's your last one? Who's your current?
Ooh.
I guess
Are we
who's-
talking about intellectual crush, or this is such a fun question, but yeah, intellectual crush or like physically attracted to? What kind of crush are we talking about?
I want to say like more physical. It's a crush.
Oh,
It's not
okay.
like you're praying here. It's not like who's your I wish was my dad.
Okay. I honestly don't follow celebrities that much, but I
Yeah.
think what is his name? See, I don't even know his name, but it's have you watched Gattaca?
No.
Okay, it's this movie about eugenics and DNA, but so I'm heterosexual, but all I can think about is pretty female actresses who I'm obsessed
Okay.
with.
Well, my
Like Zoe
follow-up question
Deschanel,
was,
I
do you
think
have a
she's so beautiful. She's gorgeous. Yeah.
sorry, I cut into you. Who?
Oh, Zoe Deschanel. She's the
Heard
lead
of her.
actress on New Girl, or she's been in Elf.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I just think she's
familiar.
so
Yeah.
pretty. That's a fun. But what about you? Who's your celebrity crush?
My follow-up question was, do you have a female one?
Oh, well, okay. Turns out I don't have a male one. I only have female ones. Oh, Jude Law. That's the name of the. I don't know if you know Jude Law, but he's pretty attractive.
Jude
Yeah.
Law.
Not now. I think now he's a little older, but him when he was more our age, I
Younger?
thought
Yeah.
he was smoking.
Yeah, he looks a little over 10 right now.
Yeah, yeah. Right now, he's a little yeah, no. Okay, but what
He's
about you?
not he's not
What about
SOS
you?
for you can tell. My turn. For
Mhm.
celebrity crush. They're always like music related. So I love Jessie Reyez right now. I love her hair. It's always a little wild. And then for males. I love St. John. He's a rapper. I love his aesthetic.
Mm.
I don't even have a leather jacket, but it's like a lot of leather jackets and like skull and crossbones. But I just love the aesthetic. And he has dreads. I can never get dreads. So we often hear that our biggest mistakes make for our biggest lessons. What's one of yours that had a profound lesson to it?
The thing is, I'm going through so many mistakes in my mind right now. I'm like, which one do I pick? I feel like every day in life I'm making little mistakes. I'm like, darn it. Well, one of the things I've been thinking about a lot lately is being
Mhm.
authentic and real and not being afraid to share things. I think the biggest mistake I've made growing up was just like not putting myself out there in terms of I'm very agreeable by nature, so I find it really hard to not conform with the crowd and go with it. I was all painfully socially anxious, extremely shy. It was only in university when I actually felt like I could talk more to people. And even then, I still felt like I was always masking my true opinions and who I really am.
Right.
And my regret is that I let that happen and that I didn't work more actively to seek out like-minded people, such as you. We
Right. Yeah.
connected through our love of Beat Your Genes and evolution psychology. I think online connections have made such a profound impact in my life in terms of career, who I'm dating, everything. And it honestly all started from me just putting myself out there online, making the first YouTube videos talking about stuff which is I thought was very taboo to talk about. And then people reaching out to
Mhm.
me and then getting connected with more people like you. If I did this sooner, imagine how much farther along I could be in terms of personal development and
Right.
living in my truth.
Great
Wow.
answer.
Thank you.
Yeah,
To
go
me,
ahead.
you always seem like this extroverted energizer bunny who's very good at presentation, speaking, connecting with people. Have you ever felt shy or afraid to share this message that you have? If not, well, how do you develop that resiliency to haters?
So personality wise, I'm more introverted for sure. It doesn't show itself often, just because I have a little bit of extroversion and that's the more assertive side. So I'm okay talking in front of people, okay, being in front of a crowd. but I also have those anxiety circuits. So together, that means shyness. So when you're sharing how you're like in high school, oh yeah, very much so. And even in university, I was at a local university yesterday, and it's a very small university, right? This is the exact opposite of the university I go to right now, which is a very big university, about 50, 60,000 students and staff, I think. So at that smaller university, when there's about 25, 30 students, I actually talk to professors here and there. Not that much, but here and there. At the bigger university, oh, I would never. I had that, oh, who am I? Like their time is so much more valuable and so many other students. I would never ask like for help if I needed it. I just kind of like, oh, I'll figure it out myself. So yeah, and that for past mistakes, that obviously bit me in, and I probably missed out on a lot of opportunities in my early 20s because of that. And was that second half of the question?
So you do coaching, counseling, helping people lose weight, helping people get on plant-based nutrition. Quite public about you. You've given radio interviews before. How do you deal with pushback or haters?
I don't work with them.
I see.
I have a free like 20-minute assessment session. So they kind of screen themselves out, if that makes sense. I've had a couple more disagreeable folks, but it's worked out fine, because at the end of the day, if someone's reaching out for my help, they're probably going to be in a position of like open to hearing what I have to say at least. They may not necessarily, believe it off the first bat. But at the end of the day, I just tell people, hey, it's a little experiment. It's your life. I just provide you the information. You choose what you want to do with it. So I've been lucky. Let's put it that way.
I think you're smart. You basically set up the filter and you only work
Yeah.
with highly motivated people.
I hear a lot from people that work in healthcare where someone walks in through your door, you're a doctor, you don't really have a choice. And then that's where you end up having to work for or try to meet someone's needs. That can be a hater.
Mm-hmm.
Online community wise, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think my content will appeal to those personalities. It'd be nice to get your thoughts on this, because in some way controversy sells, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's very easy for me to just hop on TikTok and just start talking crap about, I don't know, keto diet and whatever. And that's really easy for me to do. And I might end up gathering a bit of my own crowd that way, because I'll have basically, you have the keto tribe, and then you have the plant-based tribe, and then the people will be like, oh, he's plant-based, I resonate, I'm gonna follow him. That's great, right? And all my content can literally be just hating on someone else's way of life, which I've thought about, because it's so easy when you know the truth to just speak against what isn't as accurate. But then on the other hand, it's like, do I really want to dedicate my life to that? Or do I just want to be sharing information? Whoever hears it, and
that is something which I think about every single day, by the way.
Yeah.
Because like you were saying, I feel like negativity spreads. It is one way to spread a message, but also I don't think people are attracted to it. And as we know, as people who have been vegan for a while, it doesn't work to shout at someone, look at all the animals you're killing, look at you're killing your arteries. It doesn't work.
Look at the cognitive dissonance.
Yeah, I've realized that I like just to lead by example, like Dr. Lala says, just lead by example. Even though I could literally lecture for hours against keto, I've tried really hard to only put out stuff that is uplifting someone or showing positive vibes. I think in the end, that's what attracts people the most. And I think eventually that positivity and just showing, look at all the benefits of this, can outweigh the negative, hateful stuff. In fact, there's this person, this vegan influencer, she's an actress too, called Tabitha Brown, who makes a lot of genuine, inviting videos where she's cooking vegan food, telling jokes. Oh. And if you look at the comments on her YouTube videos, most of the people there aren't vegan. They're just there because they love her so much. And they're like, oh, wow, she happens to be cooking vegan stuff. Or they say stuff like, you know what, I love bacon, but I also love Tabitha Brown. And I think that is great. She is attracting exactly the demographic which I want to appeal to, which is people who aren't converted. And I want to just show them that you don't have to sacrifice things to be happy. People like Dr. Lau, Dr. Peter Rogers, they're great, but they also have this sort of shove it down your throat and my way or the highway kind of way. I just want to offer something hopefully a little more palatable to a wider variety of people, more inviting to help attract those folks. Because in the end, I don't want to be known as someone who focuses on tearing down other people. I want to be known as someone who can listen respectfully to other people's arguments and then say, you do keto, whatever, but I'm going to do me. And hopefully living my example, I can show you that this might be a healthier way.
I actually had a question, was at the university yesterday. I had a question regarding like keto, paleo, vegan. And the first thing I said, because in the past, I've definitely been a little more, blunt with it. The first thing I said was, oh, like all those diets, they sometimes do this amazing thing. They just get rid of processed food. Like I just try finding common ground wherever I can. And I'm pretty sure most of my clients, even people I meet, they don't really discover I'm vegan until like much later, unless we're eating out. Then it comes out. Because I don't like to put myself in, close myself in one group. I'm very open and talk. One of my strengths is just being able to engage with anyone, basically. So because I'm otherwise agreeable, otherwise pleasant, I think. So I don't want to put myself in this like box and just people not even bother just because they're like, oh yeah, he's just different. He just does the thing. He's just different. People like Lyle Rogers and even like David Goggins. I have a few friends and people I know that just go, oh, Goggins, he's just a crazy guy. That's just what he does, right? When Goggins' whole message is like, oh, you can do this too. There's nothing really stopping you. So yeah, it's a balancing act for sure. If you could have like another organ or something, what would you have?
Another organ? Oh my
Like
God.
another body part.
I would have an extra heart so I could donate it.
Oh,
What about you?
extra heart so I could run more and faster.
Oh, wow.
Okay, let's say you're having a whole food plant-based-ish pizza. Is there pineapple on it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Always, always. I don't care about those people saying don't mix fruit with, no, pineapple all the way. Well, yeah, what about you?
Pineapple for sure.
Pineapple. Okay, good. We can still be friends.
Pineapple,
Good.
olives, anything else is extra. One of the many amazing pieces of wisdoms you shared in our psychology nutrition Discord, which by the way, you can email Michelle if you want an invite to it, was there's not enough time to get everything done. Okay. So it really spoke to me because as you know, my mind, this is sort of this endless list of ideas from businesses, marketing, little side projects. I guess if anyone's listening to this and you want a business idea or anything, just let me know, reach out to me. So my question is, at the end of this life, what do you think will just remain on the back burner and you'll never get to it? Is there something you want to see, something you want to do, something you want to learn that you're just like, this would be really nice and I kind of want to do it in 5-10 years, but it might just never happen?
I have a lot of pie in the sky physical fitness goals.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of things I want to be able to achieve, which would require large amounts of training. For example, I still have this dream of doing high level acrobatics. I want to be doing flips and crazy stuff and spinning in the air. Circus things are really fun. It's something which just eats up time and money. And I weigh the see, be like, okay, do I want to be able to do a really cool full twisting back tuck like a gymnast would, or do I want to make more content that could be helpful to people and live a more balanced life? The big physical fitness aspirations I probably do have to shelve and just never be that advanced in those skills. But I think the trade-off is worth it, definitely, because I just want to be able to be healthy enough to be able to unassisted go about my life when I'm 90 or 100.
Be the first 90 or 100-year-old doing flips.
Oh no, I mean, yeah, but I'm happy just be able to spend time trying to build community and spread good messages.
And I think you're doing a fantastic job at it. Can I just rapid fire a bunch of questions at you?
Please, please.
Okay, because I think your viewers would be interested and it'd be kind of fun. What are you afraid of? First thing that comes to your mind.
Carcinogens.
How many pairs of shoes do you have?
3.
Oh wow.
3, yeah. So right now, I'm such a minimalist. Okay,
I have
actually,
a problem.
I should probably do a video of the shoes one day. But I literally, so right now at home, I walk around these house sandals, flip flops. Then I have my Xero barefoot shoes. Oh, I should probably talk about barefoot shoes at some point too. But I love them. They've like solved so much back pain. They feel so good. And then I have a pair of waterproof hiking shoes that I have had for years.
Right.
And that's for just for walking in like muddy places. I bought it when I went to Hawaii, and that's it.
Okay. Do you wear the Xeros to the gym then?
Yes. Wow, and I run with them too, but also I don't run 20 miles on concrete, so it's fine.
Oh, that's great for your feet. Yeah. Do you have a favorite childhood memory? Maybe just the first one that comes to mind?
First one that comes to mind is being in Cancun, Mexico with my dad on the beach and getting sunburned like crazy, but just having so much fun just out there on the waves.
Before we knew the sun is also a traitor. Skin cancer exists. What's the one thing you would rate 10 out of 10?
The first thought that popped into my mind was actually people.
Oh.
Looking at you and then looking at other people and thinking about people. Maybe I'm deranged or something, but I'm always built to see the good in people. And I always approach people like this person is divine and they have a lot of insights to share and they're really cool. That's bitten me in the butt a bunch of times, over trusting people. But I think people are 10 out of 10. Every single person is 10 out of 10. Sometimes they're just in the wrong environment. And so their 10 out of 10
Right.
is can't manifest correctly. But
Yeah,
everybody has their special sauce and they're amazing.
that's well put. What's one thing you would rate 0 out of 10? 0 out of 10. Getting sunburned?
Not getting sunburned. 0 out of 10 would be lack of freedom of information, which is something
Okay.
I actively try to combat on this YouTube channel.
What would you do if you didn't do this and if you didn't work at TrueNorth?
I'll be trying to be a gymnast or an acrobat. Seriously,
Oh,
I would spend
yeah.
all day doing that.
Cool. What are you looking forward to most this year?
Because I've largely given up on just running to someone on the street who cares about what we care about. I want to really hone in on building valuable online resources for people. That's something which I especially want to kick off because I've been thinking more about the value of solo entrepreneurship and I'm very stubborn and I never
Me
want
too.
to answer to a boss.
Me too. You have to be a little stubborn for this lifestyle. What's your favorite thing to wear?
My favorite thing to wear besides nothing is clothing I can dance in. It's anything comfortable. This is back to the whole minimalism thing, but people are constantly shocked by how little I care about stuff. For example, when I came here, Barney was like, "Wait, that's all you brought? One suitcase and one backpack?" And I'm like, "Yes, that's all I brought." I don't like to sleep on mattresses. I don't use a pillow. I like to sleep on the floor because
Oh, you sleep on the floor.
I prefer to because I feel like it's just feels so good. I just sleep on a yoga mat on the floor, just throw a blanket on top. I don't like using a pillow. The one product I use is Castile soap, this really minimalist soap, which also
Mhm.
you can be hand soap, can be body wash, can actually be laundry detergent too. That's the one thing I use. So if I walk into someone's bathroom, they have like a bajillion products, and literally I just pull out my bar of soap. But that's it. That's it. I use nothing else. I don't wear makeup. I don't. There's so many things I try not to do.
But your hair is so like perfect.
This is called water, the effect of water.
Well, I only use water for my hair too, but
Yeah. It's not because I'm actively trying to avoid harmful substances, though that helps in avoiding
yeah.
cosmetics and whatever. I'm just lazy. I'm so lazy and so cheap. And I've never, ever had the desire to take stuff on my face and have to worry about reapplying my face every single day. Just
Right.
I'm a sloth by nature, and hence I like to
Oh,
live with nature.
works well. Okay, I'm gonna do a thought-provoking one. What's one experience that you wish everyone could have?
Going through a fast.
Love it.
That's really what it is. Going through a medically supervised long-term fast.
What do you define as long-term?
3 to 7 days at least. You can do
Okay.
like a 24-hour fast, but I don't think it's going to give you the same. I would say a
Yeah.
7 day fast, if you can tolerate it, is really
Mhm.
good. For me, when I did my fast, it was day 3 or 4 when I started having profound effects. Why is my skin getting so clear and my brain is going into this hyper meditative state? Is
Oh
so special.
wow.
And I wish I could just take my experience and just give it to people, but I can't. And so I just want people to go through a fast, and the anxiety, especially just the hyperactive mind, the fast
Mhm.
totally clear that up. And the rest of my life since that doing that fast, I've been chasing that feeling of utter calm and zen. It's kind of the feeling you get after a super long bike ride or run, where you're just like,
Right.
like a nuclear bomb could go off and everything would be fine. It's kind of like that, except it's even more just this deep sense of purity and just the way it cleans out the body. After doing something like that, it makes it so much easier to get back to real life and avoid the harmful stuff everywhere, because you just
Mhm.
realize that you just start to feel like my body is a temple and I don't want to ruin what I achieved.
Are you planning on doing a longer fast this year?
For me, I would only feel comfortable doing it medically supervised. Ideally, in my ideal lifestyle, I do an annual fast at TrueNorth. I don't know if I'll
Same.
go back to the US this year, but next time I'm there, I'm definitely gonna try to get a long-term fast in. Long-term meaning 3 to 7 days, as long as my body can handle.
Okay, awesome.
I'm sure people ask you, where do you get your positive energy from?
What
You can say
positive
personality.
energy?
That can be a good cop out.
What positive energy?
What do you mean? You're
I'm
always
I'm a
so.
little optimistic. It's not like I don't have bad days. It's not like I don't feel low.
Mhm.
It's just that I've had so many of those, I guess, bad low days that my brain has figured out. Oh, when you have this bad sort of time, eventually you get a nice optimistic upswing. So when I feel low, I literally just wait for the optimistic upswing. If I feel depressed, lonely, beat up, a lot of times it's just like, just put music on and just distract myself as best I can. And then the next morning, try going for a run or something, just anything, because that'll start the upswing going. The openness also for people that, because I realize I might share this with people, openness is a big 5 personality trait. It's exactly what it sounds like. It means I'm open to experience, open to novelty, open to different intellectual ideas. So my openness will get my creative circuits firing quite quickly. I don't get depressed often. There's only been a few instances where I was actually very, very depressed, and that was very short term. I actually think every depressive type episode I ever had was a net huge plus, just because I got that creativity and that positivity back and firing. I've had my fair share of health struggles, so I know when times are tough, they can be really, really tough. So I like to be that little bit of beacon of hope when clients come in, to tell them that we do have a sense of, we do have things that we can do to improve your situation, even though it may not feel like it. And I think when I start sharing that information, clients often, they give you a lot of positive esteem right back, which I reflect right back at them. And then that's just a vicious cycle.
Vicious good cycle.
Vicious good
Positive
cycle.
vicious cycle. That's great.
Exactly.
And on the subject of happiness, I'm wondering also, especially people like our age, because we're in our 20s, often people trying to live so healthfully and get those few grains of minute details right, you get asked, what's your motivation? I'm wondering, for you, what motivates you to try to stay on a healthy lifestyle?
I'm scared of dying. I have a lot of cautious circuits in my head, and honestly, I see very clearly where I'm heading when I start doing certain behaviors. It's like, okay, this is gonna lead to that, that's gonna lead to that, and then I get cancer, and then I die. So as much as I can, realistically, I try to influence that in the direction I want to go in. And because I've had my struggles with eczema and even that heat exhaustion incident, I believe that health is the most important thing. And once we lose health, we lose everything. And I very much want to live my life like this and just, fall off a cliff one day, and then that's great. Then let it be. Don't let me see it coming. I'm gonna get anxious about it.
Oh. In today's modern world, high anxiety people probably do live longer because we're so freaking scared of everything.
But you can be scared of the wrong thing if you're misinformed.
Yeah.
You can be scared of the wrong thing. I spent my, fair share of years not eating, not living like I do, and just putting all my chips in the wrong basket, so to say. And clients come in a lot of times, and they're taking the exact, this as well from experience, they're taking the exact opposite approach. So when I start talking, they're like, oh, so everything I've been doing is just backwards. I'm like, yeah, basically. They come in with the biggest misconception that, of course, we see is that things like, potatoes, whole grains, those are all going to lead you to gain weight and all these downstream effects, when it's very much the opposite. So just sharing that, sometimes it can be a big light bulb going off for people. So yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. And on the subject of clients, how can people get in touch with you if they want any help from you?
Well, Michelle will hopefully put my website in the description below, and I'm planning on getting a little bit more active. So if you go on my website, please subscribe to the newsletter, and that will keep you informed of what's going on.
Gotcha. Is it still bainsnutrition.com?
Yeah, exactly.
Ah, sweet.
And
Yeah.
honestly,
So
they
go
can
on.
email me. They can email me at andy@bainsnutrition.com. Yeah.
Perfect.
Because
Perfect.
right now, my ankle's injured, so I just answer stuff while I'm
Oh,
on the
that's
bike.
sweet. What are the kinds of things you specialize in helping people with? Just so people watching know if they're probably your ideal client.
Because I'm quite a bit younger than most people in this field, as you know, I do end up getting a lot of young clients. I also get a lot of, just in this local area, I get a lot of Indian clients. So I've managed to somehow specialize in the Indian diet and taking clients that are eating a pretty standard Indian diet and making that very SOS free as we can. That works quite well because, as we know, Indian food has got a lot of flavor in it. So we can a lot of times reduce like sodium, especially get rid of things like oil and butter quite well. So those clients I'm very well familiar with.
Mhm.
I'm experimenting a little bit more. I've been having over the past, like, I want to say 7, 8 months, I've had more clients with GI issues.
Mm.
I also love talking to clients that have like eczema or acne or skin issues, just because
Mm.
I've done so much background research like 10 years ago, basically, that's still relevant. And there are so many things that I learned through my struggle that I get a big jolt of energy, right? It's like,
Mhm.
oh, did you know you could do this? And yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a
Oh,
lot of fun for my end, and for them, they're always like very grateful. Like I'm doing a lot of things with my hands right now. The
uh-huh.
biggest thing eczema wise that helped me, and it took me forever to figure this out, was honestly just following my nails down. Like I wish someone told me that in 2012. That would have saved me so many years of struggling. So if
Mhm.
you're struggling with whether it's a skin condition or you're struggling with your health and you need someone to give you accurate information, you need someone that will say, you know what, I think you should go to TrueNorth or
Mhm.
wherever. And I can be that guy.
Oh, that's perfect. And definitely in the
Cool.
future, we'll talk about eczema because I know that's such a huge topic. I've had it too, and I'm always interested in tips and learning stuff. And you're the expert on that.
Sometimes I think I should just go outside, eat dirt. Might fix everything.
Let's do it. Let's be dirtitarians. Ah, perfect. Well, on that lovely dirty note, probably a good place to wrap things up, unless there's anything else you want to squeeze in.
So as you know, healthy eating at its most simplest is knowing what to do and doing it. And both of these parts can be quite difficult. The first part, knowing what to do, well, people like, yourself, Michelle, and me, we can share that. That's available online. But that support and accountability can be such a huge piece of it, especially because the moment you embark this journey of eating healthier, I think the first thing many clients subconsciously realize is like, oh, this is very different from what other people are doing. So just knowing even one person that kind of lives their lifestyle like this can be such a huge aid. And that's why I launched weight loss packages very recently, and I have a 6 month one. The 6 month one, honestly, it's just a really good deal because people can text me whenever, so we can, share pictures of what they're eating, and just feel a lot more supportive and included in this journey. And of course, there's many fantastic online groups as well, and I advise people to join that. But sometimes those can be just time wise, they can be very costly because the moment you're part of like some Facebook group, and then next thing you know, you're spending so much time on social media, so it can not always be the most ideal approach. If you want to work with me, then check out my website and fill out that free 20-minute assessment session, and we can talk about things and see if we're a good fit for one another.
Thanks for listening, everyone. If you want to learn more about me, feel free to go to my website, michellesen.com, where you can also find more resources. I will, of course, link to Andy Bains's stuff in the video description. I hope you enjoyed this and took stuff away
Subscribe, you
from the
guys,
conversation.
subscribe. I think the
Oh
box is
yeah,
here.
like, subscribe, do all the things. Yeah, sign up
Subscribe.
for my newsletter, whatever. But seriously, sign up for Andy's newsletter. That's the real point of this video.
You guys
So
need to
yeah.
understand, Michelle's going through so much information right now, and she's gonna simplify it and bring it to you like in like no other way. So this is gonna be a
You,
gold mine.
you're very sweet. You're very sweet. Well, yeah, we hope y'all enjoyed this. Let us know what topics you found most interesting. Andy is also a gold mine, so there's plenty of ways we can pick his brain. Ha ha ha. Bye,
Okay,
everyone.
bye everyone.